I'm Jim Sawyer. I grew up in Ogden, Utah. Was on the governor's staff at about the 25-year mark with way more clout than I should have had, and eventually ended up in a PhD program trying to figure out what the long haul looked like for me. Got an economics degree at the University of Utah in what is not only neoclassical economics, but Marxist economics. So Utah is one of about a half a dozen places where you go to also study Marxism as well as standard economics. Came out of there, had a few different job options, but chose to go to West Virginia University. Was there for about a year, and then a job opportunity came open at Oregon State. My wife at the time really wanted to be in the West, closer to her mom, so we moved to Oregon. And I was there for about 3 years and then migrated up to Seattle. Or after that, was with the Jesuits at Seattle University for 36 years and retired to Colorado. I'm a liberal, but a moderate liberal, so I would say that I'm somewhat left of center. And I grew up in an environment where everyone around me was politically conservative. And I do respect the people that raised me. And so what I try to do is understand from the perspective of liberals that I associate with and conservatives in my family and other people that I know about what might be some middle ground that is missing in this dialogue. On either side, the argument is likely to be there's no middle. There can't be any middle. Of course there can be a middle, and the reasons why we need to identify what that middle is. And there are a couple of theoretical problems that really haven't been investigated appropriately, haven't been fleshed out, if you will, and that's where my work comes in, an attempt to flesh out a couple of these problems that really steer in the direction of fraud. It's like, how do you get into real America and provide a theory-based narrative that is totally real, that has been ignored, that speaks to some of these needs, even at the time that no one's going to provide any space for anybody to operate in the middle. So much of what we do now is driven by economists that may have had some great ideas 200 years ago about how the world worked then, but some of their ideas now may need to be qualified dramatically by the context in which we're operating. This is an attempt to rethink basic economic ideas that need to be updated and contemporized to allow us to get at contemporary problems that basically didn't exist 100, 200 years ago. And this polarization on the right, polarization on the left, this political polarization needs to somehow be shrunk in some reasonable way through dialogue. We don't really know, as a society, we don't really know what we're fed up about. Everybody's anxious. It's just terribly difficult to try to localize or focus that anxiety. And if you've got voices on one side and voices on the other competing, and I think it's just a cacophony, and then into that, Donald Trump and the people who voted for him who just want to take the system down. So it's a very complex time. One huge issue is when people vote against their self-interest, and especially against the stewardship interests of people who come after them, their kids and their grandkids. And that's precisely what's going on right now. If we look at the people who put Trump in the White House, and many of the policies that Trump has pursued are diametrically opposed to the kind of economics these people want and need. But it's just like wandering in the wilderness. So what do we do next? Well, Trump is our best option. I think the continued feeling is, because what we got to do is somehow we got to drain the swamp, whatever that is. And there's so much anger because of all of the polarization that's gone on, especially in right-wing media. People just kind of running around like zombies. This farce, what is it? Whatever it is an attempt to get at that American middle in a way that makes humorous where we are, and does it at a time when people are saying everything seems to be farce.